And as always, we're going to be looking for accurate context, good risk management, and always exercising good patience.
Everybody who's traded has gone through periods of time where their strategy hasn't worked.
Where if not a hard stop, you should reevaluate the trades you're in based on time.
That's what we're here for, is to put ourselves in the best success. A trading routine does that, builds that habit, lets you know what to work on, what to reflect on, and what to improve on the next day.
Good morning and welcome to Make HOAG Money. Tuesday, June the 6th. Thanks for joining me today. This is me. I'm Senior Performance Coach here at Top Step. CFTC disclaimer, we're not suggesting the purchase or sale of any product or security in these. This is for educational purposes only, but there is a lot of risk in futures trading. We know this. You could potentially lose all or more than your initial investment, as these are leveraged products. Risk capital is the only money that should be used in trading, and to me, risk capital is money that I can afford to lose. Again, neither a solicitation nor an offer to buy or sell futures, options, forex, or any other thing. We, of course, can't make any representation that any account is likely to achieve profits. And, of course, past performance is not nearly indicative of future results. These are the rules for Make HOAG Money. We do expect kindness and respect above everything. There's differences of opinions in markets. It's what makes them so good. We have a couple of people enabled to speak should they choose to, if they want to, but we're all going to be involved in the decision making. And any trade that you come up with is helpful to add context to it. Trade time frame, charts, all those are helpful in the decision-making process. We're going to use the chat rooms on YouTube and the Zoom to discuss the trades. We're going to focus on the MES for opportunities for now. We're not going to trade just to trade. A very smart trader reminded me to put that in the rules. We're not taking losing trades, which is meant to be a joke. We all know that losses are a part of trading, and our feedback for Make HOAG Money is vital. Here is the platform. And here we are with Fred in the idea that I'm not interested in taking a opening range trade today. Let's put settlement on here so at least we have that kind of reference. What was it again? 81 even. So that's close enough for rock and roll. Overnight inventory, none. Any gaps? None. Inside value? Yes. Potential for repair below? Yes. So we'll be watching our overnight low as well as yesterday's low, as they are relatively weak, for possible continuation down below. But overall, as I was saying on the market prep here this morning, as far as the equities are concerned, it's difficult to find a ruling reason to take a trade or a standout nuance that says, think about doing this. So I think we have our work cut out for us to be looking for any kind of good opportunities here today. One of the focuses that we kind of look at early in the session is sometimes the overnight low and the overnight high. Now, it looks like we have Greg here that looks like he may have some interesting ideas or opportunities. Let's get Greg in here and we'll see what he's got to say. All right. Oh. There we go. Good morning, everyone. We got Robert, Fred, James, Dr. VJ, John, James, George. Fred does not want to take the opening range trade. Sam, good morning. Will, good morning. Matthew, good morning. Vince, good morning. The Stash, Nasdaq, Barry Brooks, Kyle, Isaac, and JT in the YouTube side saying good morning. Greg, what's on your mind? How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Ho. Good morning, everyone. Well, what's on my mind is that we have a tight overnight range. We're at the low of yesterday's session there. I would like to take the opening range trade,
You would.
but in terms of our context, yeah, why not? It's low risk, being that we're in a tight range. If you look at it from what we did from the overnight, we have about how much points of range from 42.74.
I'm sending a poll. This is to take the opening range trade.
Yeah, 42.84. At worst, it's a low risk trade because of the range. I believe
You're breaking up.
he gets stopped out for the 5 points. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. It
If we get
happens.
stopped out, it should be about 4 to 5 points.
Not bad, right?
Yeah, right. Give us something to chew at. Yeah. You know, we have our rules for the break, so let's play it.
All right. We are getting some confirmation that people are willing to do this.
Yeah, let's try it out. Because at the end of the day, this opening range trade may be the catalyst to force a direction in the market.
All right. 65% participation in the Zoom meeting. 74% yes. We've got looks like some pretty good participation here on YouTube as well. Only 9 votes, but 77% yes. So we are going to get set up for the opening range trade.
Correct. And it's just important for everybody to understand how it works and know how to apply the risk and know what to look for. I think that's cool.
So the opening range trade, as you're suggesting, we look for the first minute of the regular trading hour session, which begins here in about 3 seconds. So this is the first minute. And then we take whichever side breaks out of the first minute of trade in that direction, and we know where our stop is on the other side of the opening range. So we are putting in a new low here as we speak. We've got some pretty substantial, let's see here, high 575, low 73, 73, 73. So let's take a look here. There's our low, high 75. So it's not a very, very risky trade. It's a smaller range. So we're gonna jump in.
Right. That's my mindset.
So there's our stop to get in. 70, 75, 75.
Our stop loss is 75.
It depends. What if we take out the high first?
Yeah, we gotta wait for the next minute to break.
Right. Okay. Now we just took out the low of the opening range. We're now short. Now I'm going to move this stop about 4 or 5 points outside the opening range, just in case the market wants to go pick up those little stops. But we're already below the overnight low. We are potentially coming in to finish the repair of the double distribution trade that happened on Friday. Yeah, we did have a weak low yesterday, which is really kind of an unfinished downside auction, right, Greg? The weak low
exactly.
here.
Even TPOs.
Yep.
There we go.
Well, this one appears to be doing all right. But this is a live.
Yeah.
This is a live account. I guess some folks are having trouble with Tradeovate. It appears to be working all right. This is the sim version. So far, we're so good here. We've got a stop in, so we're all right with that.
And the stop is right above the high, so that's about 76 and a quarter. Where you got yours?
77.
Okay.
Because I always have to give the high of the opening range a little bit of space, because sometimes it'll come up, take out a few of those little stops up there, and then turn around.
Right.
So here we are. I mean, if we go back inside the overnight, maybe a little bit of a warning sign for us.
Because right now we just broke out of the IB from the London session. You know, the London session had the tight range from
Right.
75.25 to 42.80.
So now we just sit and wait and see what happens. What are we looking at as far as... Here's the 30-minute chart. We got VWAP up at 77.5. We got hulls moving lower, 9 under the 13. We're kind of up against the second standard deviation of VWAP here. This is the kind of high volume node that I would be looking for in a repair from Friday's session. Do we have an idea of a potential profit target for this, Mr. Greg?
Yeah, let's look at our value. Let's look at our market profile chart. See what we find. Let's be conservative. See what we have here.
See this high volume node here.
Right area low of 42.68. That was from Friday's right area low.
Right.
The low of Friday is about 48 and a quarter. Okay. So we have to go conservative. We take the wicks or the highs, the consolidation period, but you could take it about 55.
Wow, that's pretty
Just
aggressive.
before the lows.
Pretty aggressive. I like it.
Yeah, because we done broke. We don't have no naked POCs.
No, not really. We got to go a lot deeper than that. We got to come all the way down here.
Exactly. Yeah, I think I like that. Let's see that.
I mean, that gives us about 3-to-1, maybe 4-to-1 reward over risk. I was looking more towards this, 63. Now we've got JT talking about watch 68.25, which 68's our current low, and then he's looking at 66 half.
Okay, I'm with the crew.
But if we can get through that, I'm I could see this. I mean, we've left the range from yesterday. We've left the overnight. There is further repair down there. We'll see what happens.
How's the Delta looking?
Delta is positive 2,500, 2,600. That is a delta divergence. The opening range is the high of the day. More aggressive buyers have been unable to take that out, at least not yet. Telling us maybe we've got some readjustment in longer time frame to the short side.
Hopefully the market wants the same.
Chris, there were a couple other people that said they've been having a little bit of trouble with Trade Evade. So far, we've been unscathed in this account, which is a TS Trader Trade Evade account.
Yeah, I'm on TraderView linked to TraderBase, and I'm not having any issues. Hopefully, it's just an internet issue, not a server issue.
Vince is saying Trade Evade froze. Caesar's fine on his end. No delta, no opening range. Maybe try and hit F5 on it. Maybe that'll help. Trying to find Caesar's target here.
I hate when prices like get so stagnated. Instead of it just make lower highs or higher lows in one direction.
It's crazy,
Remember how it
isn't
was
it?
like yesterday? Yeah, it was like it yesterday for Make Hope Money as well. Just hanging there.
$42.64 is Caesar's target. Kind of an assumed point of control down here in this lower distribution, isn't it, Fred and Caesar? Some folks, it seems that Trade Evade is not working, and some, it seems it is. I'm going to check here. I'm checking with our support team. Let's see if we're getting complaints about it. Isaac's got a good question there. Are you on the downloaded version or the web version if you're having issues?
And TraderVate has an app too. How about you download the app and use the app version?
Yeah, the desktop version. Yeah.
You have the desktop version and the actual mobile app where you could put the order in that's connected directly to TraderVate.
Well, Will says both aren't. Vince.
So let's just get a quick recap. We're short at
72.
what number? Short at 72 and stop at 77.
Correct.
All right. Just like to cross my T's.
We're getting more positive delta here. We're up at 3,900 now. You can see that right here. We're up at 4,000 now.
And you could see
This is something.
price want to turn around.
This is something new. We've been seeing negative delta the last two sessions. Both are not working. Can't access. Oh, man. Will says his phone version works. Some folks aren't fans of it. Barry says his TS Trader is working. This is really strange. Up to 4,700 positive delta, 4,800 positive delta. 4,900 positive delta. Do I hear $5,000? $5,000. We hit it. We hit it.
$5,000 hit it.
Yeah,
The
we
boy
hit
used
it.
to talk fast with the whole $5,000.
Will says if only we had Tori here to teach us how to phone trade. She does. She's crazy that way. I'm not. I don't trust it that much. But hey, if it works, it works.
like Mr. Patak say, and everybody from the top step, if you got your bracket in and your orders are in, the trade's in, right?
Yep.
So you did your research and put your number orders in. You got to live with the results after that.
Yeah. I don't think I'd be scalping on a phone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a different animal now.
F5
So
hard.
like when Delta's increasing and you see price trying to pop, do you get nervous?
No.
Okay. How come? Like what's the nerves behind that?
Well, we're seeing, some pretty positive delta, and we haven't been able to take out the high of the opening range or the high of the session.
Okay.
Who is selling that?
Okay. So the idea is that so much orders are coming in, price is not moving.
Right.
Okay. Not because it's a big number, price should move.
Right. It's telling us that the more aggressive traders are using market orders to lift offers. Shouldn't that move price higher if you're lifting a lot of offers? But if it doesn't, that's divergence, and that's one of the things, one of the things I'm always looking for. And we've seen some decent divergence in the last couple of sessions, but it's been in the opposite direction.
Agreed. I'm going to send you a question about this, Mr. Hope, because I think it's important. Because like when you're in the moment and you're seeing these sharp data information, how to handle it real time.
Well, this one, we happen to be in the trade already, right? So we took the opening range trade. It hasn't proved to be invalid yet. We're seeing positive delta, but the market so far has been unable to take out that high. So your more aggressive buyers are up against something here. And if it's a longer time frame trader placing ice orders and just scooping up everything that those aggressive buyers will buy from them, eventually the shorter time frame traders, the shorter time frame market order buyers, they're going to get wise to it. And then they're going to say, well, this isn't working, let's get out. So then you get a push to the downside. And then if the longer time frame still has more business to do, they'll move those offers lower. And then you'll see the delta continue to increase at even lower levels. That's how we can find that snake in the woodpile, right? Because we can't see.
Elvis came into the building.
Right. You got it. I used to be able to stand in the pit and watch orders come into the pit to sell 1,000, sell 1,000, sell 1,000. You could just watch the brokers, and they would just be, just kind of holding offers and replenishing them. Or if they were real aggressive, they would just start hitting locals. But eventually the locals would get too long. And if the market did not pay them, eventually they'd all kind of get the idea that they were screwed, and they'd head the other direction and fall all over each other trying to get out of those positions. But we can't see we can't see the big players. All we see is a dome and charts and all that stuff, and we can make assumptions that they are present using delta. Now, there's other orders that they use from time to time that aren't as clear. We're still piling in positive delta. The market is trying to go higher, but it hasn't taken out the high of the opening range yet. So the opening range trade, by all rights, is still valid.
And this comes back full circle to allowing the trade to play out if it doesn't hit your stop loss.
Right. Yeah, if we had moved our stop to break even, we'd be out of it by now, which may not be a bad thing in this case, but that takes us out of the trade before the trade is proven invalid.
Agreed.
So we got 6,000 positive delta right now, and the market has not been able to take out the high. 6,100, 6,200. Just keeps piling in.
And 42.75 is the IB low of the monthly session.
Right here.
It'll be 42.75. About, let me get the exact number. 42.75.25. And on the 1 minute, we're getting some wicks there. One of the markets trying to protect that level.
1 minute. I mean, you know, we're in an opposite move here, right? The move to the downside. Now we're pulling this way.
Correct.
$6,200 positive delta. Looks like they're gunning for the high.
Yeah, they going for it.
So Joe's saying there's liquidity here. We're going to move this a little bit further. We're going to take out the little stops above the opening range. 6,700 positive delta. We were able to take out the opening range by 1 tick. Hello, Daniel. And if this doesn't work, it doesn't work.
At least we got something to do, something to learn from, understanding how markets work in the opening session.
And they pulled their liquidity at 77.5, Joe says.
Joe's here. Hey, Mr. Joe. Liquidity man.
Yep.
He need a cape. Liquidity man.
We're always learning, right, Fred? Right, Greg? There's always.
Yes, indeed, man.
When you find the right answers, the market's going to change the questions.
Definitely.
James says he would not be going short here. Kind of nervous about it too because we looked below the overnight. We looked below here. This could look like some pretty good excess if we start pulling higher.
What does the how does the I know it's early. Well, TPO charts is. How the TPO charts is looking? Is it too early to pay attention to it now?
Well, I mean,
in terms of like.
We're using the only reference that we really have. I wasn't seeing any kind of ruling reason or prominent nuance this morning. So you wanted to do the opening range trade. We did it. We would have gotten taken out at 42.77, but I pushed us 4 ticks further out because Joe said there was liquidity at that level and the market goes to liquidity, right? They pulled the liquidity, but now it seems as though the market is, pulling back a little bit. So to me, the trade is still valid. The short is still valid, even if it doesn't work, even if it doesn't play out in our favor. The positive delta, the fact that the market has been struggling to the upside with all that positive delta. Now, that's just my opinion. Somebody else may say, the market is struggling to go lower, right? It's all in what it's all in what you're looking at, right?
Yes. It's like that painting, but they use with ink, and they say, "What do you see? You see a star. I see an octopus. He sees an elephant."
Right. I mean, and that's the beauty of the difference of opinion that drives price in these markets.
It's so true.
So Shaw is saying the Dow has the same delta divergence.
And it looks like Mr. Joe gave us an assist. Thanks, Mr. Joe.
Absolutely.
Yes, man, working together.
Here's the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is not showing any divergence. The opening range is still the high of the day. You know, it's basically flat delta. Here's the NASDAQ opening range here. All right, here's the S&Ps. Opening range, we took it out by 5 ticks, 4 ticks, 1, 2, 5 ticks. Now we're back in positive delta. It's going to be fascinating to see the how this trade finishes out. I have
Plays out.
no idea. Didn't have an idea. Didn't have a feel. Didn't have a nuance or a ruling reason. But I'm glad that we at least had the opportunity to take this trade, see how it plays out, talk a little bit about delta and delta divergence. You know, it's yesterday we had delta divergence all the way up. So we had short delta divergence, negative delta divergence all the way up, which had me long, and it just wouldn't go. It spent 2 hours up here and wouldn't go, so I got out. But we still had the delta divergence at the end of the day yesterday. So was the increase in open interest new longs or was it new shorts? I'm thinking it was probably new longs. Maybe they're starting to sweat.
Right, towards the ending of the day. That was an interesting statement you made during Make Book Money. That made me think, like, wow, that's true. Even though you got the change in delta, but where did it come into the day? Man, so much ways to apply that information.
And
almost make your head hurt.
And everything is a hypothesis because we can't know the outcome of anything. We just look for probabilities. We look for hypotheses. We look for our hypothesis to be either proven true or proven wrong.
Some shame.
And then we go to the next hypothesis. But I was finding I was having a difficult time actually coming up with valid hypotheses today just because of the situation. You know, I was like...
because I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
No, I was saying because we're in such tight ranges and it's hard to figure out where we want to go if you get the same story on both sides.
Vince, did you want to talk? Are you driving, Greg?
Oh, yeah, I am driving. But I'm paying attention to you. In New York City, they're impatient out here.
Yeah, well, hopefully you're driving hands-free.
Yeah. Nothing is in my hand. No. Nothing's in my hand.
All right. Just looking.
Nothing.
Just trying to look out for you. And you're sober, right?
Yeah, so of course, not trying to get pulled over.
I mean, it's only 10 o'clock in the morning in New York. I understand, some New Yorkers like to party early.
Yeah, that's true, though, but you got to make the money first, then you go party. Got to put the horse in front of the carriage.
Okay, Vince.
You got some legs.
You just had your hand up. I wasn't sure if you were wanted to speak. I knew people there was a guy at the Board of Trade who was a big grain trader. You'd be sitting down at the bar series having breakfast, and the bartender, Tom, would take a pint glass, fill it with ice, and then fill it with Jack Daniels and let it sit there. And pretty soon this guy would come down, and Tom would strain the ice out of the Jack Daniels, and this gentleman would sit down and drink all of that Jack Daniels and then go back up into the pit.
Oh, boy. I would think alcohol would make you a little, what's the word I'm looking for?
Loosey-goosey.
Yeah, man, you lose a little judgment with it. Because, one decision could make you go kapooey.
We got Joe coming in to speak. We'll see what he's got to say.
Hey, Mr. Joe. Yes, sir. Give him
You
the
can hear
floor.
me now, right?
Yes, sir. How are you?
Good. You want to briefly just take a look at what your trade looks like on Bookmap?
Sure. Let's take a look.
See where the liquidity is.
I have a feeling it's right where my stop is.
Okay, here's your trade.
77.
Okay, this liquidity here just entered the book here.
Got it.
And you can see it over here. You got over 300 contracts in the book at 77. And that's been growing gradually. When it first came on, it was like 250. And now they're building over 300. And then down here, you've got some liquidity, 68, 50, 68. And then up here at 80, you've got some liquidity too.
Thanks.
Excuse me. Now this here, okay, here's the open. Okay, the full screen is the open. Here's the open right here.
Right.
We got this drive down here.
Right.
This is the developing point of control, this yellow line.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see they dropped the developing point of control. So this means that most contracts so far today have traded at 71.50. So this is, if you wanted to say, is it bullish or bearish relative to the developing point of control, you're above VWAP and you're above this developing point of control. You're above where most contracts traded so far today.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, and my internals are leaning to the bullish side. So if I were to trade this, which I'm not, I would be leaning bullish.
Leaning long.
My guess is we're probably going to come up and either take this out or they're going to pull because they really don't want to sell. And if they don't really want to sell in their size, then that's kind of leans bullish.
Yeah, if they pull it, they don't actually want to sell it. They're trying to push price
Yeah,
lower
exactly.
so maybe they can buy it.
So here's a big bubble. That's 446 contracts just traded there at 75.50.
It's a nice order.
Yeah, right. Now, if you get the Bookmap subscription model, they show icebergs on there. They show stops, and they identify what trades are stops, and so you can pick out exhaustion. I've got the Thinkorswim version. You don't get all those bells and whistles.
Stripped down.
Yeah, but knowing like for instance, when you're coming up here, like this could be exhaustion right here on a short-term basis. Only 6 contracts traded. Okay.
Above the ice order.
Yeah. So my guess is we're going to come up and take the 77 out, or they're not real, and they're going to pull. See, this is the overnight point of control, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we revisit. The statistics are that we revisit the overnight point of control. Okay, see.
Often.
The developing point of control just moved up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so most of the contracts so far today traded at 74.50. The fact that this moved up is bullish. Okay, so more and more traders are paying,
Spending time.
Are paying up, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Captain Price has a good point here. You don't want to be short because VIX is so low. The greed factor or fear factor.
No, these are decent sized deltas, these bubbles here. Is this absorption? I mean, that's always a question. And like Greg was saying, when you're looking at a tea leaves or something,
Yeah.
if you're bullish, you'll probably say, yeah, there's absorption. I'm all pulled up. If you're looking short, you're saying, it's going my way.
Right. Right? It's all perception.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so see this turn yellow? the 77.
Yes, they
That
pulled some of
means
it.
they just pulled some orders. That was well over 300. Now it's 225-ish. So they pulled about 100 contracts just in the last couple of minutes. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, they pulled because they got yellow. There's still some in there, but it's much smaller. There it is. It traded.
Yeah, we just got our stop.
And the next one is 80.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is we go up there and take that liquidity or challenge that liquidity. Let's put it that way. That's my guess.
All
So
right.
anyway, this is a pretty good trade at 77. 600 over 600 contracts, and they're still going.
Yeah, we've got.
And we
Delta.
revisited another developing point of control that was put in earlier in the session.
We got Delta up at 8,000 now.
And that's the overnight point of control, and this is the overnight mid up here. And that usually gets revisited over 50% of the time, so.
A little exhaustion up there, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. 76 contracts traded, 595 traded at 77, and 76 traded at 77.75, which previously had a lot of liquidity and they pulled it. So we're coming back, we're testing the developing point of control, which happens a lot.
Will, if you hit F5, your Tiki tools should come back. It'll kind of reboot the platform. That's what I do when that happens. So what do we do now, Joe?
Well, my bias is long.
Long. So
My
where's our?
internals are leaning that way.
But if we're gonna wait,
I think this order flow activity.
Mhm.
If you look at the moves up, they tend to be green deltas, and when they pull back and you get the red deltas, that tells me that there's a good chance that's absorption. And then when they finally make a move for a higher high, like here, here, and here, we get buying and we get green deltas on those moves up. So we get tests, and we get tests, and we get tests, and when those tests, that's absorption. And then I think eventually we come up and take this light liquidity out here at 78.50, and eventually they're going to take out 80, which is around the overnight mid.
Well, I just.
So anyway, that's my answer. I mean, the conditions aren't such that it's a trade for me yet today, but kind of early. I like to have
Sure.
things develop and try to get a sense of what the context is. And it's kind of early for me to be guessing what that is. Because that, to me anyway, that's paramount. Usually I lose when I get the context right. If I get the context right, I tend to have better days or more better days and less losses.
Good. Okay. Well, I just kind of took along kind of against this pullback, not good trade location, but my stop is below the low of B period. Can I take this back, Joe?
Yes, absolutely.
And we'll go back to it if there's something you want to show.
Yeah.
So half back, Greg. If we're looking for longs, half back might be an interesting spot. My stop is down here. It's a small risk trade. And we'll see if we can't take out the highs here, because we looked below the overnight. We looked below the last night's low. We have excess on the low now, so we're looking to the long side. So we are.
You're 8 period, right?
We're currently long at 42.75.75. Didn't get great trade location on it, but right now we're sitting in profit with little risk.
So where would our stop be?
I've got it below the low of B period here.
Period. So that'll be
So
about
low
73,
70. Well, I've got it at 72 right now. I'm going to move it up a little bit.
72.
73 now.
Okay, we're approaching that 80 liquidity,
Mm-hmm.
and there's liquidity at 81 too. And that's the regular trading hours point of control, by the way, is 81.
And the IB high from the London
Okay.
session is 42.80.
All right, let's look at your book map again. Shall we?
Okay, yep.
All right, hang on. Here you go. Share away.
Okay, there's the 80 liquidity. And then there's 81 liquidity. So we've got 215 contracts on the book here and 239 at 81.
And we've got
Okay, so see it went yellow, so
Yeah.
you get people pulling
They're
and
pulling
adding and, you know, they're now they're back in. You know, it's not necessarily one person, as you know.
right.
But you get at these inflection points, you get a lot of volatility in the ads and polls, and a lot of volatility on a very, very micro level with the price. Okay, there's the bubble is growing, so it's trading there. There you go, it traded,
Bubbled out.
and so that's 654 contracts traded at 80.50.
We're
Now
approaching
we just
10,000
took out
positive
the 81.
delta.
Yep. So
Joe, you're amazing, man. This is cool, guys. This is cool. I'm such a nerd, man, and this is awesome. This is awesome. Mr. Logan, Mr. Hoag loves it, man. I could feel it, Mr. Hoag. Don't lie to me.
I may have to subscribe.
Yeah,
man,
man, it's
it's a good
interesting.
reference. I mean, I don't rely on it, but it's a big tool for me. You know, I've got other things I'm looking at. They give me context, mainly.
And context is important because it gives you the confidence.
Yeah. See how liquidity is 83 now, a little bit, not huge, pretty big up here. And this is the overnight high, by the way, where this liquidity's in at 85. We got 260 contracts sitting there. This changes every second. Okay, now some liquidity is flashing up here. Liquidity coming in. See,
Oh, let's go get it.
Yes, exactly.
Let's go get it.
Here's a big delta, over 1,000 contracts. That could be good, it could be bad.
Wow. It could
Sometimes
be
you
bad
get those
because it
big-
could be it could be bad because it may be fake, right? Those could be the ice orders.
No, that's a real trade.
No,
I'm
that's-
saying it could be a major. Sometimes you get those at the top, but I don't think we're at the top yet.
Yeah, ice orders don't really
Doesn't show.
they don't show, right?
Okay. Yeah, I need. Not gonna lie, Mr. Hope. We should do a class on that. Not gonna lie.
Mhm.
They just showed
Right
10%.
now. Okay. So it looks like from the beginning of the session, it was masking that orders was coming in, the orders was being suppressed. Then they finally released it.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a big green bubble and there's no obvious liquidity there, that would probably be an ice order. But an ice order is usually they're going to be kind of they're going to be piecing in thousands of contracts.
Like for instance, this blue liquidity out here,
Mhm.
at 290, it says 200 contracts in the book. If that's an iceberg, which we don't know, if you had the book map prescription, that it would identify it as an iceberg, if indeed it is. But if it's an iceberg, you've got probably 1,000, 2, 3, who knows, 4,000 contracts behind that 200 that they're showing. And when price gets there, it just keeps, the trades just keep accumulating until the iceberg is complete.
Finished, right?
And finished, right. Or they might finish part of it, it might pull back like it is now, and make another attempt at it, trade some more there. And so they may only have 200 contracts showing, but they've got,
Thousands
hundreds
behind it.
that.
They're selling off now. Not gonna lie, Mr. Hogue, I stopped it once I got to a nice target. I'm out now, but I know you have more patience than me.
Oh, we're up $1.25. I just took it out
Yeah.
because we're running out of time.
Yeah, I went a little heavy. I put 3 contracts on, so
Oh, nice.
to 1,000. So I said, you know what? Let me take this off the table. You get what I'm saying? Because we don't know how sustainable this move is.
Right.
'Cause it feels hollow because the sentiment is undecisive, but then we get a nice pop right now.
And look at the overnight high. We traded right to it.
I could be wrong though, but it's just gotta trust your belly.
Yep, 100%. I'm not showing the screen anymore here, am I? Joe, I'm going to take this back.
Go for it.
Thank you very much.
But one last thing, Mr. Hogue, and it's wicking at the initial balance. Obviously, if you do 100% extension, if you was to do that from the initial balance from the London session, its price is stopping right there.
Right at that level. Okay.
Right at. Let me get the exact number. 42.85. So that's one standard deviation of the initial balance from the London session. Price is wicking right there exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's what made me want to get.
Yeah.
Before you go, if you are gonna get Bookmap, my recommendation is, Top Step's got big, deep pockets. I would get the subscription model
Yeah.
at Bookmap. And that way there, you're gonna have the icebergs,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna get the stops, the size of the stops, which really is, if you're looking for an entry, say you're looking for a short,
Mm-hmm.
you've got a big up move and it's at the extreme end of the profile, like which is locations that you like to
Sure. Right.
trade,
Yep.
and you're looking for a short and there's a consolidation up there, you might see the beginning of the consolidation stops of 200, 100, 150.
Mm-hmm.
And then as that trades in that consolidation and time goes on, all of a sudden you're seeing 50s and you're seeing 60 stops. Then all of a sudden you see 5, 10, 1, that type of thing on the moves, on the spikes to the upside.
Right.
And that's
Yes.
showing a sign of exhaustion. And now that gives you pretty good confidence that
Right.
this might be exhausted and a good place to enter your short.
Right. I kind of look at that in the dome, because if you run a bunch of stops and then the dome just dies and it seems like nobody cares, that's your spot.
And basically, a book map is replicating the dome. It's giving you a visual of the dome.
Right. And I like that. I like it. Isaac.
Thank you.
Looks like you. Yeah, thank you, Joe. Isaac, looks like you're doing some good trading, man. Keep it up. Awesome. We got JT's up on the day today, looking good. Not going to fiddle in the middle.
Mr. Hogue, thank you. Thank you for the time.
No problem. And again, we're going to be changing the way we're doing this a little bit as we get deeper into Top Step TV. I'm not sure we're going to be able to do the Zoom meetings anymore. It'll probably all be on YouTube. We're going to shorten up the latency so that it's not like a 10-second delay. And we're going to be, we're going to have Michael Patak on here live trading. We're going to have a whole bunch of people on here live trading, and we're still going to do Make HOAG Money to some degree, but we're gonna try and figure out how to work all of this. Okay.
Kumbaya, man. Taking each day golden, making each day golden.
Yes, sir. And hopefully.
Yes, man. Celebrity Hogue.
No, I don't know about that, but shit. Oh man.
Stay humble.
Just doing what I do, man. Just doing what I do. And I appreciate everybody coming. Joe, Greg, thank you for your participation today. Thank you all
Thank you.
for your
Thank you,
thoughts
Greg.
and
Thank you,
participation and
Take care,
everything.
Mr. O. Bye, Joe.
We'll talk soon. We'll see you later. Trade well, everyone.